Hello everyone, Seattle Mike, MMA with friends. Please hit that like button if you like what I do here. Hit that subscribe button if you want to join one of the most knowledgeable MMA communities on YouTube. And don't forget to ring that bell so you're notified whenever I drop a new video or go live like this Friday for BKFC 15 Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Guys, this has been a tumultuous year for a lot of people, for most of us. Businesses, sports, really everybody's been hit, but the company and sport that has dodged the most bullets is definitely the UFC. They were one of the first ones, if not the first one, to get back into competition, back on television. Even fought orders, went around the world, made Fight Island and Abu Dhabi, and now have been doing private shows out of the Apex, of course. They have no longer been able to dodge those bullets, though. It kind of seems like everything has hit the UFC like a ton of bricks this last week and a half. Let's start out with the Leon Edwards versus Khamzat Chimaev situation. Leon Edwards got the Ferguson-Khabib virus, and that fight is out. That was a big fight. That's still a loaded card, free ESPN card, one of the best of the years, but that fight is off. Let's talk about some suspensions. USADA, guys hit. Nico Price hit with his second in-competition marijuana violation. This is going to be the second time that's resulted in a no contest. And it's also going to cost him a 6-month suspension. Another suspension coming off the docket, Yaya Rodriguez getting a whereabouts suspension. 6-month suspension. We've seen notable fighters Donald Cerrone and Nick Diaz get this suspension in the past. Every fighter is required to basically give a schedule of what their whereabouts are going to be for the next quarter, and Yaya Rodriguez did not meet that deadline. His suspension was reduced because they said there was no suspicious nothing suspicious about it. He just didn't get it in time. Then we have one of the biggest releases in quite some time, and I think this came by shock to most people. Even though he's 43 years old, Romero released by the UFC. Dana White finally talking about this recently, and he finally sat down and he said this is going to be the first of many. Now, I've been watching Dana White Contender Series. I know a lot of us have talked about how many fighters can the UFC really support. I watched this. Dana was giving away 2, 3, 4 contracts a week out of 5 fights. And I seen that roster bubbling, over 600. And we don't have the revenue of live fans right now, even though that ESPN contract is, to die for. Not literally, hopefully, but, Dana White's been giving out contracts like Dennis Rodman giving out drugs in the 90s. So, come on, something had to give. And Dana White sat down, and when he talked about the Yoel Romero release, he said, expect about 60 fighters to be being cut before the end of the year. That is huge news. That's a good 10% of the roster. And we know some of the names. I talked about some of the names recently in one of my videos, 6 fighters that should retire immediately. We've seen Diego Sanchez announce his retirement last week. Possibly he had a heads up from the UFC that, hey, something's coming, and we would rather the first Ultimate Fighter winner ever have a chance to retire before you get cut. He didn't want to do to him what he did to Anderson Silva. So I don't know who's going to be cut. I know, there's a short list in my mind. Mauricio Shogun Rua did not look good in his last fight. Of course, Ovin St. Preux last night, not only did he miss weight, he did not look like he wanted to be there. That seems like, an obvious one on there. And those are guys that have gotten some fights under their belts, too. They're going to start cutting some of these guys that are making the most per fight. Yoel Romero, former title challenger, 3-time title challenger. You started getting paid more once you challenge for the title. And kind of everybody knows that. So let me know, who do you guys think is next? How many do you think the UFC will possibly cut? What do you think about Nico Price and Yaya Rodriguez? I hope that neither one of those guys are on the chopping block, because I think those guys are both young prospects. But you know, when layoffs are coming, don't give your boss excuses. You know, everybody kind of knows that, and a lot of people probably know it a little bit more than this year than they have in some time, if not ever. But that's the news right now for MMA, and I just thought that that was really worth stopping our day and taking a look at, guys. As always, I love you, I respect you, and I'll see your fine asses later.